Today we are going to discuss a very interesting topic in stem cell chapter. That topic is called as transgenic stem cell. From this term transgenic only you will understand that you are going to insert some gene into the stem cell, and we are going to utilize that stem cells for the research work and for treating the disease. That is what we are going to see. It's a very new and advanced technique wherein stem cells are used for gene therapy purpose. Okay, so it's a combination of transgenic stem cell, meaning it's a combination of two techniques. One is gene therapy, another one is known as the SCNT. You must have heard about this SCNT technique. SCNT stands for somatic cell nuclear transfer. Somatic cell nuclear transfer. Have you heard of this technique, somatic cell nuclear transfer? That's a technique wherein the nucleus of the somatic cell will be implanted into another cell. Okay, so that is what we are going to do here. Usually the nucleus of a somatic cell will be implanted into an enucleated egg. This particular technique was used for creating Dolly. You know what is Dolly? Cloned sheep. You just go through the method of creation of Dolly so that you will understand what you mean by somatic cell nuclear transfer. So somatic cell nuclear transfer is this much only: removal of nucleus of the somatic cell, implanting that nucleus into an enucleated egg. I will be explaining it now. Okay, so this was done by this gene therapy technique, because this particular technique, transgenic stem cell, the modified stem cell, that can be used for treating various genetic disorders. We know that there are so many genetic disorders are there. People are suffering from genetic disorder. We can treat all those genetic disorders with the help of this transgenic stem cell. So this is a very, very advanced method of treating the genetic disorders. Okay. Now we are going to take one example. It is hyper IgM syndrome. This we will be studying in detail under immunology in the last semester. Hyper IgM syndrome, in the sense, what do you mean by hyper? Something which is very high. Hyper meaning too much of something which is not something which is produced in a higher level. In that way you understand. It is called as hyper IgM. What is IgM? It's a type of immunoglobulin. There are 5 different types of immunoglobulin. Immunoglobulin G, immunoglobulin A, immunoglobulin M, immunoglobulin E and immunoglobulin D. These are the 5 different types of immunoglobulin. Out of that, this particular condition, genetic disorder, is called as hyper IgM. What do you mean by hyper IgM syndrome? Wherein in that particular patient only IgM, immunoglobulin M, will be synthesized in excess amount, whereas the other 4 immunoglobulins synthesis will not be happening. Okay, so that is not, this IgM itself, it is not sufficient. Other different types of immunoglobulin should be synthesized in the body to get the proper immunity. Clear? So this condition is known as hyper IgM, wherein excess amount of IgM will be synthesized, whereas other immunoglobulin production will not be happening properly. You understood? So this is the concept of hyper IgM. Why it is happening and all those things you will be studying in detail later in the immunology classes. For this particular example, you understand that we are taking a mice which is hyper IgM syndrome. So this was done by Rideout and colleagues. These are the scientist Rideout and his team and his colleagues. They did this method and they found it is very, very effective to treat the genetic disorder. Okay, so this particular genetic disorder is because of a defect in one of the recombinase enzyme, which is called as the RAG2. Okay, RAG2, it's a recombinase enzyme which is needed for the production of other 4 types of immunoglobulin. What are the other 4 types of immunoglobulin? Immunoglobulin G, immunoglobulin A, immunoglobulin E and immunoglobulin D. Only M will be synthesized, whereas all the 4 different types of immunoglobulin synthesis won't be happening. Okay, why this particular problem is happening? Hyper IgM syndrome, that is because of a defect in one of the recombinase enzyme, which is called as the RAG2. So this is the model system, mouse model system, wherein the RAG2 gene is defective. So they did this particular process in this mouse and they found that it's very effective, and then other research workers started doing the same process with human beings also, and it is a very highly effective process. So what they did is, Rideout and his colleagues, what they did is they cut the tail tip from this RAG2 defective mice, they just took a very small piece of the tail, tip of the tail they have taken, and from the tail tip they isolated the somatic cell. So throughout the body, from wherever you are taking the cells, that is called as a somatic cell. So from the tail tip they have taken the somatic cells, and after isolating the somatic cell, they cultured the somatic cells in the lab, and they did a process called as the enucleation. What do you mean by enucleation? Removal of the nucleus. So once after removing the nucleus of this somatic cell nucleus by the process enucleation, they introduced this nucleus into an enucleated egg. So this is the donor egg enucleation. Before removing the nucleus of the somatic cell itself, you have to remove the nucleus of the egg. So this is the enucleated egg. Into this enucleated egg, transfer the nucleus of the somatic cell. So now the egg cell is ready with the nucleus of the somatic cell. Clear? So this is what they are doing. So now, what exactly is the mechanism of this purpose is, usually whenever you have some genetic disorder, and when you do for the when you go for the stem cell transplantation and all, you need to go for a matching. Donor and recipient matching should be there, then only you can take the stem cell for the transplantation. So here, if you are taking the somatic cell from the patient itself, here we are using a model system. They are taking the nucleus from the mouse somatic cell, implanting into the enucleated egg. So what is happening here is, you are taking the genome of the patient itself. So this is the model system. So from this one, second example, this is the patient. So you are taking the somatic cell from the patient itself, taking the nucleus and putting into the egg. So thereby the rejection chance is very less, because the genome content is completely from the person to whom we are going to do the treatment. So you are taking the nucleus and implanting here and introducing into the enucleated egg. Now from where will you get the donor egg? Usually donor egg will be collected from the in vitro fertilization lab, because you know that in vitro fertilization lab they will be using many egg, induce the fertilization, and after the fertilization they will be implanting into the uterus. And when they collect the egg for the in vitro fertilization, the excess amount of egg, the excess number of egg which is there in the lab, instead of just throwing it, they will be using it for this particular process. So that is one way, collecting the egg from the in vitro fertilization lab, or you can take the egg from any donor. So whoever is suffering, some of his relatives, mother, sister, or any other relative can give the egg. So collect the egg, enucleate it, implant the nucleus into the enucleated egg. Now this egg, it has to undergo differentiation, and it has to form the embryonic stem cell. We need the embryonic stem cell to create a transgenic stem cell. For that purpose, we need to induce the differentiation. To induce the differentiation, we are going to do a cheating process, wherein into this implanted nucleus implanted egg cell, we have to inject PLC, phospholipase C zeta. So this is one of the enzyme which is there in the sperm. Okay, this is phospholipase C zeta is one of the enzyme which is there in the sperm. When you inject this one into this egg, modified egg, this will get the signal for differentiation, and you get a embryonic stem cell. So the differentiation process happens, and after a few days of time period, you get a blastocyst. So this stage is called as the blastocyst. Inside the blastocyst, you can see a cluster of cells. Those cluster of cells are called as the embryonic stem cell. You have to isolate the embryonic stem cell and introduce the RAG2 gene. What is defective here? They don't have the RAG2. So you have to introduce the RAG2 gene, culture the stem cell for few more days in the culture condition, and inject the stem cells into the mouse. So what is happening now? You are introducing a stem cell with the modified RAG2 gene into the mouse. Thereby the mouse will get the copy of RAG2 gene, and thereby recombination happens, and all the other 4 types of immunoglobulin synthesis happens in mouse. Okay, this is very, very simple process. It's not simple. If you understand the concept, it will be very, very easy. So it's the transgenic stem cell, that is a combination of 2 techniques. What are the 2 techniques? One is known as the somatic cell nuclear transfer, another one is the gene therapy. So Gene therapy means whenever some defective gene is there, because of the defective gene, if any problem happens, that can be treated by gene therapy. So before doing the gene therapy, we are doing another technique which is called as the somatic cell nuclear transfer. So this technique is used to treat hyper IgM syndrome. This was the first one which was done by Rideout and colleagues. Then they started doing in human beings. So usually in model system they will be doing it first. So this is the first experiment what they did. They created a model system with a defect which is called as hyper IgM syndrome. For that purpose, they mutated a gene called as RAC2 gene. What is RAC2? A recombinase enzyme which is needed for the recombination event to synthesize 4 different types of immunoglobulin. So whenever this particular enzyme is not there, the immune system cannot synthesize all the 5 immunoglobulin. It will synthesize only one, that is immunoglobulin M. Whereas the other immunoglobulins such as immunoglobulin G, A, E and D synthesis will not be happening. That condition is called as hyper IgM. Defect is RAC2 defect. You need to isolate, cut the tail tip. They removed the tail tip. They isolated the somatic cell, enucleated the cell and introduced this nucleus into the enucleated donor egg. I told you from where you can get the donor egg. After introducing, they injected enzyme called as phospholipase CETA. That is an enzyme which is there in the sperm. When you inject it, the egg cell will get the signal for differentiation and it differentiate into a blastocyst stage, wherein inside it you can see the embryonic stem cell. Isolate the embryonic stem cell, introduce the RAC2 gene because that is the defect here, and culture the cells for few more days and introduce this embryonic stem cell into this mouse. They found that the hyper IgM syndrome defect was completely cured from this model system. Okay, that was the first one. Then later, another scientist called Hirsch et al. HIRSCH, Hirsch et al. And meaning Hirsch et al. And his team, they did an experiment. They proved that this particular process work out by doing somatic cell, by doing the gene therapy or modifying the transgenic, by using the transgenic stem cell technique to treat a disease called as epidermolysis bullosa. This is another condition, genetic defect, wherein you can see blisters throughout the body. Throughout the body you can see painful blisters will be there. The reason behind this is, you know that your skin, the outermost layer is called as epidermis. Below that there is dermis. Outermost is called as epidermis. Below the epidermis there is next layer which is called as dermis. Epidermis is connected to the dermis with the help of some of the anchoring protein. Anchor mean, you know, anchoring meaning it will be fixed to the epidermis, will be fixed to the dermis with the help of some of the protein. Okay, so that whenever that particular protein is defective, so that protein is produced from the gene LAMB3 gene, that is the one which will be synthesizing that protein. So whenever that epidermis bullosa patients are there, so that means they will not be having the protein which is expressed from the LAMB3 gene. What happens in that case is, when that anchoring proteins are not there, epidermis will not be fixed to the dermis, thereby fluid accumulation will be there, infection can happen, and because of that blisters can be seen throughout the body, very painful condition, and those people cannot survive for a long time because of the skin infection. So what they did is, from the epidermolysis bullosa patient, they collected the epidermal cells, that's the somatic cell, and cultured it and introduced the foreign DNA into the epidermal cells. The cultured cells, they introduced the foreign DNA. What is the foreign DNA? LAMB3 gene, because this defect is because of the defective LAMB3 gene. So they introduced the LAMB3 gene with the help of the viral vector delivery method. When you infect the virus into the epidermal cells, virus infection, because of the viral infection, the LAMB3 gene will be inserted into the cultured cells. Then they culture the cells for some more time, and they get a holoclone in the sense, the cells which can proliferate like a stem cell. Okay, so they have given all the condition necessary for the differentiation, thereby the epidermal cells differentiate into a kind of stem cell, and that stem cell they converted that stem cell into a sheet of epidermis. Okay, so transgenic epidermis was created. So when the cells are multiplying rapidly, they have created an artificial like a match. They have prepared this epidermal cells and transplanted this epidermis into the patient, and they found that after 6 to 7 months of time period, when they checked all the parameters, they found that epidermolysis bullosa in that patient was completely cured. So this is one example wherein somatic cell nuclear transfer and gene therapy is used together. In the second example, it is to replace the skin cell in the case of epidermolysis bullosa, wherein epidermal cells were separated, and the defective gene is LAMP3 gene. Introduce that LAMP3 gene into the cultured cells with the help of retrovirus, and cultured the cells in a condition wherein the cell differentiate into a stem cell kind of cell, and converted that cell into a mat of epidermis. Once the mat of epidermis is formed, they transplanted that skin into the patient, and they found that the girl was completely cured from epidermolysis bullosa. Okay, so these two are very, very important topic in this particular chapter, stem cell chapter. In the examination previous year question paper, if you see also, you can see that this particular question they have asked many times about the transgenic stem cells. Okay, so it's a very simple topic. If you understand the concept, it is very, very simple. I think the first concept all are clear with that. Second one, if any doubts are there, you can ask me. This particular condition is because of the defect in one of the gene called as LAMP3. Because of this defect of LAMP3 gene, the protein will not be synthesized, thereby epidermis will not be fixed on the dermis. When epidermis is not fixed on the dermis, you can see blisters throughout the skin. So to treat that, you need an artificial skin. Artificial skin can be created by using the cells which are isolated from the patient itself. So for that purpose, isolated the epidermal cells and cultured it, and introduced the defective gene with the help of introduced the gene which is defective in this epidermal cells with the help of the retrovirus, and then cultured them. After getting a proper confluent culture, they made a epidermal kind of layer was formed, and then transplanted into the patient, and this was completely cured. Okay, so please go through the topic, and if any doubts are there, you can ask me. Thank you.